All right, guys, welcome back to another video. If it is your first time here, make sure to hit that subscribe notification, all that stuff. And if you've been watching for a while, make sure to hit the subscribe notification, all the buttons if you have not hit those yet, if you do enjoy what you see. And make sure to check out my Spotify link in the description below. But let's start off here with some very interesting news that came out yesterday. Phil Spencer did an interview with Polygon. There's a lot of information in there. I'll probably be making some more videos going over some other stuff that he has said. But one of the most interesting things that did come out of that interview was the future of Xbox and how they really want to open up their own ecosystem and allow other launchers onto the Xbox platform, essentially making an Xbox a PC where you get access to your Epic Games and your Steam and all of those different launchers that are available on PC. So again, this was in an interview with Polygon, and they say here, Spencer talked about how the console market is flat overall, meaning that some people are buying consoles, but the overall market isn't growing. And that one of the ways to provide more options for players would be to open consoles up. Hypothetically, this could mean allowing players using an Xbox console to buy games from the Epic Store or from the Epic Game Store. Here's what he says. Consider our history as the Windows company. Nobody would blink twice if I said, hey, when you're using a PC, you get to decide the type of experience you have by picking where to buy games. There's real value in that. And then he adds, if I want to play on a gaming PC, then I feel like I'm more a continuous part of a gaming ecosystem as a whole, as opposed to on console, my gaming is kind of sharded, to use a gaming term based on these different closed ecosystems that I have to play across. And I mean, he is absolutely right on that. The only thing really if you were a PC gamer, that's where you played all of your games for generations and for a very long time, the only thing you would have potentially been missing out on were those exclusive games on PlayStation, on Xbox, and on Nintendo. That was the reason why consoles in previous generations were sold, because people wanted to play those exclusive games. But we have gone to a huge pivot here in the gaming industry with Xbox and PlayStation specifically, and it's mainly because of the cost it takes to develop their games, and they aren't reaching new customers. The reality is the console market essentially is drying up in the terms of being able to expand it out to people who have never been in the console market, who have never been in that ecosystem. Less and less people just care about consoles. And one of the major reasons, he does touch on this on the Polygon interview, is because Gen Z doesn't really care. They're used to having everything at their disposal and not having to go out and buy a specific piece of plastic in order to get access to certain things. A lot of these younger gamers are playing all of their games on their phones and on their tablets, and these companies realize that the industry is shifting, and those are the people that are going to have all of the money to be keeping the industry successful in the next 10, 20 years or so. They have to start adjusting now to meet their needs. So it is kind of an unfortunate thing if you're somebody like me who's used to everything the way that it was, and it does not want to see it really changing in terms of the console market. I always want there to be hardware. I always want there to be consoles, but I'm absolutely okay and absolutely for having these open ecosystems. Is one of the main reasons why I loved Xbox this generation right at the beginning, was they were putting their games in more than one place. You're being able to play your Xbox games on multiple different devices. It made things just easier, and it was more consumer friendly. And on top of that, they were opening up their ecosystem to all the previous generations of Xbox. So if this is something that Xbox actually does do, brings Steam, brings Epic Game Store, brings other PC launchers to the Xbox console, that is a major, major win for Xbox. And I think you're going to see a lot of people out there buying Xboxes just for that. If they know they get that full AAA experience and they aren't going to be locked away from being able to play their entire Steam library, which would be insane, people are going to be picking up Xboxes. And the thing is, that essentially just makes an Xbox now a gaming PC. I mean, it already is a gaming PC, but it is a closed gaming PC. This would be just turning the Xbox console into an open hardware, an open platform gaming PC. I think would be great. It would, for a lot of people, be the place where they now play everything. And then if you start thinking about some of the other rumors that we have been hearing about the Xbox handheld, you integrate all of that, you can really kind of see the vision that Xbox is trying to do here, which is making that Xbox ecosystem that one-stop shop for games, no matter what you play. no matter what devices you're playing on, no matter what stores you're buying them from. It's all going to be available within the Xbox. And in fact, PlayStation games will even be available within the Xbox if they were to bring Steam over to Xbox. So it'll be a crazy thing if this happens. We'll see. He's probably here just kind of talking about it. I don't know if anything is in the works or not, but this is the vision right now of Xbox going forward. Now, speaking about the Xbox ecosystem, Diablo 4 is coming over to Xbox Game Pass in about a day or so. And this is going to be the first ABK game dropping onto the Xbox Game Pass server. So it's a big moment in more than one way. Hopefully this signals more ABK games coming over to the service. Now, there is some stuff here that did pop up yesterday for you to know, depending on where you're playing. On PC, because obviously this is a legacy title, you're still going to have to do what you have to do with the other processes on PC when you're getting it from a different launcher, is you have to download Battle.net, you have to log in and connect your Battle.net account to your Xbox account, to your Xbox Game Pass to play it. Unfortunate if you're playing it through PC Game Pass, if it's your first time jumping in, because you're not going to have access to the achievements. And I really hope this is something that Xbox does end up just phasing out. Phase out Battle.net, make sure all of the Game Pass games coming over from ABK all are accessible via just the native Xbox PC Game Pass app, and you get access to everything that Xbox does offer with that, like the achievements going forward. So again, Diablo 4 legacy title, so that isn't too surprising that they weren't able to do it there. But there is something else that's pretty cool here. For the console version of this game, Diablo 4 is now going to be supporting ray tracing. This comes out from a report that they put out on their website saying on console, you need to activate enhanced visuals, and enhances some of the shadowing reflections with ray tracing, improves quality of other effects such as fur, hair, and fog, and targets 30 frames per second. So if you're on console and you want to play this game with ray tracing, you can turn that on, but you will be locked to that target of 30 frames per second. So pretty exciting. I'm going to be jumping into Diablo 4 when it does hit the Game Pass service. And speaking about the ABK acquisition, as they always have said since they started negotiating to get this thing through and passed via all of the regulatory stuff, was they were buying ABK for mobile gaming. And just recently, Call of Duty Warzone released on the mobile platform globally. And you can see why they know and they want to get more into mobile gaming from the Xbox side of things, because of the fact that it is that market share that they can actually see growth in. They can actually go out and acquire new customers and make a lot more money off of it. And here's just another example. It says 4 days after launching globally, Call of Duty Warzone generates $1.4 million. The US accounts for 47% of the lifetime spending for this game. It says Call of Duty Warzone Mobile has hit 1.4 million in consumer spending within 4 days after launching, as reported by PocketGamer.biz per AppMagic data estimates. The shooter has reached 2.2 million in lifetime revenue. Among country spending, US accounts for 47% of the revenue at 1.1 million. Chile was the second largest spender at $202,500, making up 9% of the game's revenue. And the title had limited releases that began back in 2022 for different regions. And among the countries, US accounts for 47% of the spending on the game to date at 1.1 million. I guess they repeated that line there twice in this article, but it's 4 days. 1.4 million in revenue that is generated, and you're going to see that just continue to expand out. I can't imagine what the revenue is going to be after a month of this game. And this is where the money is right now in gaming. Xbox obviously saw that, which was a huge reason why they decided to go out and purchase ABK. And if you like cloud gaming, if you like that part of Xbox Game Pass, there is a feature here that I think a lot of people are going to be very happy to see, especially because of the fact there are lots of games within PC Game Pass that play better with a PC or a mouse and keyboard on a PC. Think about it, just many of the first person shooters that people would rather play with a mouse and keyboard. Think about the RTS games and stuff. And now, via Xbox Cloud Gaming, it is going to have mouse and keyboard support in select games. The Xbox Insider app is starting to test this new support, meaning that they're going to test it, take some feedback, and then it will be rolling out to everybody to be able to utilize this. Specifically here from The Verge, it says, Microsoft is starting to preview mouse and keyboard support for Xbox Cloud Gaming today. Xbox insiders will be able to start playing with their mouse and keyboards in Edge, Chrome, or the Xbox app on Windows PC, nearly 2 years after Microsoft announced it was preparing to add mouse and keyboard support to its Xbox cloud gaming service. 2 years. I mean, I don't know why it took that long to get this thing available and to allow people to test it out on these games, but hopefully as they implement things like this in the future, it goes a little bit faster. Right now, it says not every game will be supported during the preview, but there's a large selection, including Fortnite, Sea of Thieves, and Halo Infinite. And Microsoft warns that some games will display controller UI elements briefly before adapting to mouse and keyboard input after you start interacting with the game. So pretty cool stuff there. I really hope that they just launch this with pretty much everything. They do have a list here saying that here's the full list of games that work with mouse and keyboard mode on Xbox Cloud Gaming: Fortnite, Ark, Sea of Thieves, Grounded, Halo Infinite, Atomic Heart, Sniper Elite 5, Deep Rock Galactic, High on Life, Zombie Army 4, Dead War, Gears Tactics, Pentiment, Doom 64, and Age of Empires 2. So there you go. That is the entire list. So pretty cool. And they continue to bring more improvements to Xbox Cloud Gaming, as they are definitely seeing that is going to be another thing in the future that they need to expand out in order to continue to make some more money. And let's jump over here. Let's talk about the PlayStation 5 Pro. We heard about what Christopher Dring talked about on the Xbox side of things yesterday. Now, a lot of people are kind of like thinking, why would developers say things? I mean, it doesn't really make sense, and getting on him for essentially making that news and making that news cycle again, where there is that negativity towards Xbox, where we've had a very weird year so far in terms of Xbox news. Every time there's something good happening, something bad happens, and it's just like stepping on rakes, I guess. And now we have something that a lot of people are probably questioning as well when it comes to the PlayStation side of things, and that is the PlayStation 5 Pro. That question, every time I talk about the PS5 Pro, I see people asking, like, what is the need of a PlayStation 5 Pro right now? I mean, I don't really see the need of it either. I have that theory, and then I think it makes complete sense that they've probably planned this from the beginning of this generation to have a PS5 Pro, similar to what they did with the PS4 Pro, just kind of continue what they did last gen, because it was very successful, the whole PlayStation 4 generation. And as they move through this generation, they had already invested way too much in the PS5 Pro. They probably didn't anticipate where they would lose $10 billion in value, and they would have to pivot some of their strategy and things like that happening. So they just aren't able to back away from creating the PS5 Pro, and they're still going to be putting it out. And in fact, even some developers are questioning what the point of this thing is. It says here, GameIndustry.Business Christopher Dring has revealed that he spoke to a number of developers at GDC, and they question why the PS5 Pro is even happening, with many saying that they haven't even got the most out of the standard version of the console yet. Here's what he says. A couple of companies said this isn't going to grow the market. It's not going to move the needle. This generation doesn't seem to have got started really, let alone feel the need for a mid-generation update. How about we just get some original next generation software up and spinning? So there it is. I mean, PS5 Pro developers apparently, according to Christopher Dring, again, take this with a grain of salt. Believe it if you want. Don't believe it if you don't want, because he does not give names. He doesn't give any of the sources. So he's just saying from what he heard and who he talked to. You have to take his word for it if you want to believe it. They are saying, hey, we don't really see a reason for a PlayStation 5 Pro right now, and we haven't pulled out the full juice of the PS5 yet. And it's kind of good to hear that, to be completely honest, if this is true, because that's kind of the thoughts that I've had, and the thoughts that a lot of people have had, is we have not seen the full potential of this Series X and the PS5 yet. There's still a lot to be desired in these consoles, especially with the tools that are within them. I know people like to always make fun of the tools, but the tools that are within them, the technology that the developers just have not fully put to use. And you think back to something like the PlayStation 3, that was a system, that was a console that had a cell processor, was hard for developers to develop for. There was a lot of power under the hood there compared to the competition with the cell processor. But we didn't even really see the full potential of that cell processor within the PS3 until the very end of that generation. Like, if you remember how insane The Last of Us looked on the PlayStation 3, which was a game that released right at the end of the life cycle. And maybe that's where we're going with this generation. We're really not going to see the full potential of these consoles until the last year or so, or the last 2 years of this gen. So PS5 Pro doesn't really make too much sense. I do agree with that dev, or with this quote here, that it's not going to move the needle. And who's going to be buying it and what are they going to be pricing at? All those questions we are still here waiting for, because we're waiting on PlayStation to actually make that official announcement. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you are new here, hit that subscribe. I appreciate all the support. Check out my Spotify, all those types of things. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.